Welcome to yet another edition of The Idiots Among Us. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Please, it will be greatly appreciated. Um, I wanted to take a minute here and talk about the Electoral College and the threat that it's under. People should know, and it seems to be lost even on our current world leaders, that America is a republic. It is not a democracy. With that being said, um, there is a national vote, and what's the word I'm looking for? Initiative, I guess you could say, going on right now. 12 states plus the District of Columbia have already signed on to it, where basically they've all agreed that they're going to give their delegate votes, their electoral college votes, to the national vote, regardless of what the people in their state actually vote for. They've currently got 181 of the 270 necessary votes in order to control who wins. Basically, the president that receives 270 of the electoral votes will become the next president. That's kind of the issue that we had with Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton technically having the lead in the popular vote, but because of the Electoral College, Donald Trump still became president. Not the first, second, third, fifth time that this has happened in our history, but everybody made a big deal about it. And what this initiative would do is, and they're not putting it in place, they're not implementing it until they have the full 270 votes. Once they have enough states that have passed the legislation, then they will implement it all at once, and it will give enough delegates to completely eradicate the Electoral College. And they're praising this. They're saying that it's a relic of old times. This is a very dangerous move for a few reasons. One, like I said, this is a republic. This is not a democracy. With the republic, there are protections that give an equal say to the entire country, regardless of your population density. By getting rid of the Electoral College, a handful of heavily populated metropolitan areas, all of which are all extraordinarily liberal. We're talking like Los Angeles, DFW, and the Washington, D.C. area. I think those areas alone, I might be missing one in there, those areas alone could, completely control the election if we were looking at only the popular vote. With the implementation of the Electoral College, this makes it to where even more rural areas, your farm workers, your less densely populated areas still get an equal say in what's going on. You don't have that hive mentality, that collective mentality that comes with being all in a very close, very tight community. You don't have that it's hive mentality. I can't think of another word for it, where everyone that you know has a certain opinion, and so you start to have that opinion, whether you had it to begin with or not. It starts to come about, and it's all about what you're exposed to and what you're dealing with in your daily life. So the Electoral College was intended to prevent that from being able to completely take over and control the country. Now, the other reason that this is a very bad and dangerous idea is it circumvents the actual votes of these states. A state at most could say, we're going to give all of our delegates to the popular vote of our state, but that's not what they're saying. They're saying that they're going to give it to the popular vote of the entire country. Therefore, it doesn't matter what the people of their own state, for instance, Colorado, the most recent one to have passed this legislation through their House and Senate. Last time I looked, the governor was set to sign the bill. It doesn't matter what the people of Colorado vote for, which is a very mixed liberal and conservative state. Who they vote for would not matter. Therefore, their electorates, their Electoral College votes, which are appointed by their state representatives, are not representing them. they're representing the people of Los Angeles, or they're representing the people of New York, or some of these other highly dense populated areas that, you know, supersede that of Colorado. And the same goes for all these other states that have signed on to this, and for any state that does sign on to it going forward. It is going to be throwing away the votes of the people. There might as well not even be a reason for them to have a state governance at that point, because we're just going to go ahead and give it all to the public. Are we going to get rid of state jurisdictions as well? This is a very slippery slope that is, it sounds like it's giving control to the people, but it's not. The United States is too big. It is too big to be completely governed in an imperialistic way. We are not an empire. We are the United States. We are a group of independent countries that act together. Not independent countries, a group of independent states that act together in a national interest. We collude and we agree and we compromise. This is why the laws are not the same in every state. The way very basic things operate are not the same in every state. So to be taking something as important as your presidential vote and throwing it to the wind and saying, well, we're just going to go ahead and see what the entire country says, and whatever they think, we're just going to go ahead and do that. You know, not what you think, not what I think, but what everyone thinks. That's what we're going to go ahead and do. Even though they don't live here, even though they don't participate in our lives, we're going to go ahead and let them make our governing decisions. Does that seem like a very smart thing to do? I mean, really, I used to be on the bandwagon with, you know, getting rid of the Electoral College because I didn't understand it, you know, when I was 20, 22, 23. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, and I know this isn't the most articulate video that I put out, I'm tired, but you need to go study it. You need to go read why we have this foundation that we have and why everything is not, you know, cast out into the popular vote. What the difference is between a democracy and a republic, and why we are not, no matter how many times Hillary Clinton says it, a democracy.